My name is Jake Womack, and this is my capstone presentation. In this presentation, I will be discussing the story of why I chose the field of real estate as my desired career path. My story actually starts um, way before I was even born. My grandfather, he first moved to Rome in the late 70s. He, uh, he was a real estate appraiser. And in the 90s, my mother, she followed in his footsteps and started appraising. And then in 2012 or 13, my mom first got her real estate license, and then my dad got his. And then both my parents became brokers, and we opened our own real estate firm in 2018. This desire that I've had to be involved in real estate was one that was pretty much just thrown into my lap from the get go. My whole entire family's been involved in real estate. I've always been around it. I understand it, in my opinion, much better than most 22-year-old, basically kids, would understand it. That's kind of a little bit of background to my story. My story really started for me in high school whenever I knew I had the desire to follow in the family business and continue being in multiple fields of real estate. On top of my family being involved in the sales process of real estate, my family has also invested in real estate in Rome and Floyd County. My grandfather has invested, and both my parents have invested in real estate, and that's another field I plan to pursue as well. But my story starts really back in the summer of 2017. I had just graduated high school, and I was looking forward to taking my real estate class online, getting my license, and really getting started while I was still in school. That didn't go my way, and I wound up failing the class. I wasn't even able to pass the class because that just wasn't my type of learning. I had never done an online class, and I was very nervous about it. And I approached it completely different than I approached it the same way that I approached normal class, where there's a teacher, you're in a classroom, you're not just reading, it's being spilled into your brain. And just the type of learner that I was, it just feeds into my head, and for whatever reason, I appear to remember it. But it wasn't the case with my online school at all. And like I said, I failed the first time, and it was very discouraging. But I knew that I couldn't let that failure define who I was as a person, especially if I wanted to follow in my family's footsteps and continue, I guess you could call it a family tradition. The next summer, I go and take a real estate class online, and I do very well. I passed the class the first time, and I even passed the state exam the first time, which it's not what you'd call unheard of. Plenty of people do it, but it's an exam that can sometimes take several times to do it. For instance, there's one person that my instructor used as an example. It took her 13 tries to pass it, and so, like I said, life's all about figuring out what kind of learner you are and what kind of environment makes you perform best. And I understand that a classroom environment is what makes me perform at my best. And that really kind of ties back around to my time spent at Shorter. And I've always done traditional in class courses, and and I feel like I've had great success with it. And I've been on the dean's list every semester except for one, and so I've really given it my all, and I've done a lot with it. And my degree field, which is a bachelor's of business administration, I think will really take me a long way in my field, because I have had management classes, statistics classes, accounting classes, finance classes, and strategic management classes, and these are all parts of running a business, which is what I fully intend to do in the future. And while they're helpful with every other business, they're also extremely helpful in real estate, due to the accounting principles that I've learned, the statistics principles that I've learned, and the finance principles that I've learned. This will help me in all three of my desired fields, and those three fields include real estate investing, real estate sales and brokerage, and real estate appraising. All of these fields, one way or another, encompass all of these aspects, which I have which I've experienced in my time in the classroom at Shorter. Just going a little bit deeper into my time at Shorter, one very specific assignment that I really excelled in and thoroughly enjoyed was an applied management class that I took in the spring of 2020. This whole entire class for the whole entire semester, all we were doing was making a business plan. We had a book, of course, that we followed, and it was 12, 13, 14 chapters, however long the book was, and each chapter outlined each week of work that we were doing in the class, and at the end we composed all of it together to create a complete business plan. And of course, I did real estate investing, which is something that I fully intend to do, at least in the near future. Of course, we had to come up with a funny name, not so much a funny name, just a name for it. I just thought my name was funny, just because it's kind of a stolen name in a way, because I plan to have 30 investment units by the time I'm 30 years old, so I called it 30 by 30, kind of like ESPN's 30-4-30. But that class really, really put it in my mind and put the numbers down on paper that this is 100% doable, and if I keep my mind right and I stay on the right course, this is definitely a very feasible option for me to pursue a successful, very diverse career in the field of real estate. Now, as far as my resume goes, the main parts that I want to highlight in my resume are certainly my experience more than anything else. Like I said, I want to be involved in real estate, and I have in more fields than I already am. I have a background in real estate sales over 2 years now. Started in September of 2018, and that's something that I feel like really gives me a leg up, because I understand the contracts, I understand the financing, I understand the appraisals, I understand the attorneys. I have a great foundation for everything that I've learned in the classroom as well as in the field, actually studying the industry. What I'd really like to wrap this presentation up with, I'd really just like to express that I have a real driven and passionate personality for what I do and what I plan to do. Like I said, I've already got my foot in the door, and it's something that I fully intend to pursue as a lifelong desire. And I really want to leave this presentation with the viewer just having the knowledge that I have a plan, and that plan is slowly but surely coming together, just as soon as one stepping stone is laid out at a time. And one thing I'd like to pass on to anyone that might view this later down the road is that you don't rush the process. Everything happens when it's supposed to happen. Like I said from the beginning, my name is Jake Womack. This is my capstone presentation, along with my story as to why I plan to pursue a career in three aspects of the real estate industry. Those three aspects include real estate sales, real estate investments, and real estate appraisals. Thank you.